You check your bank balance. Then you check it again 12 minutes later, as if something might have changed. The screen glow is the same blue-white it was last night at 2:47 a.m. when you opened the app from bed, scrolling past the same three numbers. $312.47. The rent is $1,400. Payday is 9 days away. You already did the math. You're going to do it again. Your jaw is tight. You haven't noticed. Your shoulders sit half an inch higher than they did a month ago, and they will not come down until something, anything, changes. The fluorescent light above your desk hums at a frequency you can hear when the room is quiet, and the room is always quiet now, because you canceled the streaming services and you don't have anyone over. You meant to read that book. The one about money. It's been on your nightstand for 6 weeks. You picked it up last Tuesday and read 4 pages before your phone buzzed, a notification from your bank, and you were back inside the app, refreshing. This is what your brain is doing right now, in this moment, while you watch this. Researchers like Sendhil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir describe it as a bandwidth tax. When financial scarcity is loud enough, it occupies the same cognitive resources you need to plan, focus, and decide. It isn't that you're undisciplined. It's that the spreadsheet in your head never closes. Level 1 complete. But here's where most people stay. You start to notice. Not all at once, it sneaks up. You're in the grocery store on a Thursday evening, and you've been standing in front of the pasta sauce for almost 4 minutes. There are 11 options. 3 are on sale. 1 has a coupon you'd have to scan. You can't decide. Your cart has 6 things in it and you've been here for 40 minutes. The man next to you grabs a jar, drops it in his cart, walks away. He didn't read a single label. You watched him do it and felt something like envy. You start to see it everywhere. The way you reread the same email 3 times before sending. The way you sit in your car for 9 minutes after pulling into the driveway, scrolling, not going inside. The way decisions that should take seconds, what to make for dinner, whether to accept the invitation, which line to stand in, feel like exams you didn't study for. You think, I'm getting worse at this. I used to be sharper. You're not getting worse. What evidence in this area suggests is that scarcity narrows attention. Your mind is performing exactly the way a mind performs when it's running a background process it never gets to close. The pasta sauce decision isn't really about pasta sauce. It's the 412th micro cost-benefit calculation your prefrontal cortex has run today, and it's tired. The fluorescent hum of the store. The cold air from the freezer aisle. The faint dread in your chest. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a bandwidth problem. Level 2 complete. But here's where most people stay. You decide to try harder. This is what people do. You download a budgeting app. The good one. The one the YouTuber with the clean desk recommended. You spend a Saturday afternoon categorizing every transaction from the last 60 days, and by Sunday night you have a spreadsheet that color codes your spending into 11 groups. You feel powerful for about 3 hours. By Wednesday you've stopped opening the app. By the following Tuesday you've gone over budget on groceries, on gas, on a $14 charge you can't remember authorizing. You feel the familiar tightening in your chest. You tell yourself you'll start over next month. Fresh slate. New rules. Then you read another article. You listen to another podcast. You watch another video about the mindset of the wealthy. You take notes. You highlight. You set 5 alarms to remind yourself of 5 different habits. By the end of the week, you've forgotten what the alarms are for. Here is the trap. The system you're using to fix the problem is running on the same depleted bandwidth that caused the problem. It's like trying to fix a slow computer by opening 17 new programs to monitor it. Research on cognitive load suggests willpower itself behaves like a finite resource under pressure. When your mind is already tunneling on scarcity, adding a discipline layer doesn't add capacity, it competes for it. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You are trying to run an upgrade on a machine that hasn't been allowed to restart in 2 years. Level 3 complete. But here's where most people stay. Something clicks. Maybe it's a sentence in an article you almost scrolled past. Maybe it's the moment a friend describes their own version of the same paralysis and you realize you're not the only one. Whatever it is, you stop trying to fix the behavior and you start looking at the brain underneath it. You find the work of Sendhil Mullainathan, an economist, and Eldar Shafir, a psychologist. In 2013 they published a book, Scarcity, built on a body of research that reframed everything you thought you understood about money and willpower. Their argument, in their words, was that scarcity captures the mind. They studied sugarcane farmers in India who received their entire annual income at harvest. Before the harvest, broke and stressed, the farmers performed worse on standard cognitive tests. After the harvest, with the same farmer, the same brain, the same body, the scores rose substantially. The researchers described the difference as comparable to losing a night of sleep. Same person. Different bandwidth. Your hand goes still on the mouse. You read the paragraph 3 times. Something inside you reorganizes. It wasn't that you were bad at money. It was that being short of money was eating the part of you that could ever be good at it. The tunnel that scarcity creates, Mullainathan and Shafir call it tunneling, focuses you on the immediate so completely that the long term becomes invisible. Not ignored. Invisible. You sit back. The hum of the room is still there. But for the first time in a long time, you are not inside the tunnel, you are looking at it. Level 4 complete. But here's where most people stay. You change one thing. Just one. You stop trying to optimize and you start trying to subtract. You delete the banking app from your phone's home screen. You move it 3 folders deep. The first day, you reach for it 11 times and find nothing. By day 4, you reach for it twice. By the end of the first week, the compulsion has not vanished, but it has quieted enough for you to hear other things. You sleep an hour longer on Sunday because you didn't refresh your balance at 2 in the morning. You read 14 pages of the book on your nightstand because your phone was charging in the kitchen. You make a decision about what to cook in under 30 seconds, not because the decision got easier, but because the background process running underneath it got slightly quieter. You set up an automatic transfer, $20 a week into a separate account you cannot easily see. It is a laughable amount. You almost feel embarrassed by how small it is. But the point of $20 isn't $20. The point is creating what Mullainathan and Shafir called slack, a margin that the mind can rest against. Slack is what allows you to absorb a small shock without spiraling into a tunnel. Your jaw, for the first time in months, unclenches in the line at the pharmacy. You notice this. You notice that you noticed it. You are not rich. The rent is still due. But the spreadsheet in your head has begun to close, even for a few minutes at a time, and inside those few minutes, you can think. Level 5 complete. But here's where most people stay. The transmission goes. Your car. Tuesday morning, in the parking lot of the grocery store, the same lot where you stood in front of pasta sauce in another life. The estimate is $1,840. The old tunnel snaps shut around you like a door. You can feel it physically, the chest tightening, the shoulders rising, the strange high whine in your ears that means your sympathetic nervous system has decided this is a fight. Your first impulse is to open every app on your phone at once. To refresh every balance. To open 3 credit card calculators and run the numbers on a personal loan, a 0% APR transfer, a cash advance, a side gig, an asset to sell. You feel yourself sliding back into the broke brain, the reactive, narrow, expensive brain, and you almost let it happen. But something stops you. Maybe it's the book. Maybe it's the small account with $240 in it that you forgot existed. Maybe it's just enough slack to take one breath before the second one. You put the phone down. You walk inside the store. You buy a sandwich and a coffee and you sit at one of the plastic tables by the window and you do nothing for 11 minutes. When you pick the phone back up, the tunnel has loosened by maybe 10%. Enough to ask, what's the actual lowest cost path here? Not the fastest. The lowest cost over 12 months. You make one call. You pick one option. It isn't elegant. But it is not panic. Research on stress and decision-making suggests this small gap, between trigger and response, is where almost all good financial choices live. Level 6 complete. But here's where most people stay. Months pass. The car is paid off. The $20 weekly transfer is now $60. You haven't seen the inside of the banking app since Tuesday. The change is not dramatic. There is no montage. No one in your life notices that you've become someone different, because the differences are interior, and they are made of absences, the absence of the 2 a.m. refresh, the absence of the tightness at the pasta shelf, the absence of the spiral after a $40 surprise. Neuroscientists describe long-term behavior change in terms of neural pathways. The more often a circuit fires, the more efficient it becomes. The more you take the breath before the reaction, the more automatic the breath becomes. The bandwidth that used to be eaten by tunneling is being slowly returned to you, not because you fought for it, but because you stopped feeding the thing that was taking it. You start thinking in years instead of weeks. Not because you decided to. Because the noise quieted enough that years became audible. You open a brokerage account. You don't buy anything for 2 weeks. You read. You ask questions. You decline a coworker's tip about a stock that has already doubled. You feel a flicker of the old tunnel, what if it triples, and you watch the flicker without obeying it. You begin a small, boring, almost embarrassing investment plan. Index funds. Automatic contributions. The kind of plan that financial influencers do not make videos about. The plan that, in the work of researchers from Kahneman to Mullainathan, actually compounds. You are not impressive yet. But you have become unscatterable. That is the foundation. Level 7 complete. But here's where most people stay. Years pass. The numbers have changed, but that is not the part that matters. The part that matters is the quality of your attention. You walk into a meeting and you are entirely inside it. Not running parallel calculations about rent. Not flinching at a $200 expense. The full bandwidth of your prefrontal cortex is available for the thing in front of you, the problem on the screen, the face across the table, the long arc of the decision you are weighing. You notice, in conversations with old friends, that they sometimes speak in the language you used to speak, the language of I can't right now, of maybe next month, of small panics dressed up as preferences. You recognize it the way a doctor recognizes a symptom. Not with judgment. With memory. When a surprise hits, a tax bill, a medical bill, a flight to a funeral, you absorb it. The tunnel does not snap shut. You feel a brief tightening, and then you feel the slack underneath you, the structural slack you spent years building, and the tightening passes. You do not become a different person under stress. That is what slack buys. You understand, finally, what the research has been pointing at all along. The wealthy mind is not a different brain. It is the same brain, yours, operating without the bandwidth tax. The thing the rich have isn't a secret. It's space. Space inside the skull. Space inside the day. Space inside the year. You built it $20 at a time. And what you built it for was not money. It was the return of your own attention.